Hey everyone, this is Chase of Rocky Mountain ATV, and this is our first impressions ride review of the 2020 CRF450R.
Sometimes I'm at the peak and other times I'm about to fall. Sometimes I gotta wonder what I'm doing here at all. Sometimes in my mind I just sit here and I'm guessing. How can I find the answers? I don't even got the questions. Sometimes I'm at the peak and other times I'm about to fall. Sometimes I gotta wonder what I'm doing here at all. Sometimes in my mind I just sit here and I'm guessing. How can I find the answers? I don't even got the questions. I feel like something's wrong. Been sitting way too long. Just sent a couple texts, now I wanna break my phone. Now you can't reply. It's killing me this time, but next time that I'ma see you.
All right everyone, thanks for tuning in. So we are out here at Fox Raceway today. Honda just came out with the all-new 2020 CRF450R. So I'm actually out here with Chris Kiefer, Colton Ack. We did a little collaboration today to do a first impressions on this bike. So first I'll just kind of brief you on what changed for the 2020. We'll talk about the updates that they have, and then just gonna talk about how this bike felt on the track, kind of the direction that we went with suspension and how to get the chassis to feel comfortable for us today, and kind of talk about who this bike's gonna be really good for. So new for 2020, let's talk about the big changes. So to start off, the biggest change that they have this year is with the airbox area. So they actually moved the battery down about 28 millimeters, and the purpose for that, one, lowers the center of the gravity, or center of gravity of the bike. So that's just gonna help the bike lean over a little bit better coming into turns, help it handle better. But also by moving that battery down, they're able to get more direct airflow into the airbox. And by doing that, that allowed them to actually revamp the mapping this year. So just like 2019, you have 3 different maps on this bike. You've got one which is standard, which is pretty aggressive down low, plenty of pulling power. You have 2, which is gonna be more of your softer hitting, good mid to top. And then you have your third map, which is gonna be your aggressive map, soft low mid condition. You want as much hit as you can get out of that bike. For me personally today, I actually stuck with map 2 as an intermediate expert rider on some tracks. I actually like map 2, just a little bit more mellow. It just helped me be a little bit more aggressive. The bike wasn't as jerky coming through the turns if I didn't have to give a little blip with the throttle. So I stuck with map 2. And something that Honda's really been focusing on this year with the new 2020 is something that they call track toughness. And their goal was to try and make it to where you can get a nice comfortable setting on one specific track, and then when you go ride a different track or a different area, it doesn't take a whole lot to keep that comfort that you already had, and they want to have you make minimal changes to the bike and just stay comfortable. So that's what they're really after with that. So along with those new 3 maps, they also now have what they call HSTC, which is Honda Selectable Traction Control. And what it is, you got 3 different maps, so it's separate from the other maps I just talked about. Your map 1 is when you got plenty of traction and you might be breaking loose here and there. That's map 1. Map 2 is, as the track starts to go away, starting to get hard packed, square edgy. You got map 2, which will just kind of mellow out the bottom. So a little bit more wheel spin. And then you have map 3, which is the track's just completely gone, like you can see today at the end of the day. Super hard packed, square edgy. They're throwing water down. You're getting a lot of wheel spin. That's going to be where map 3 comes into handy. And what I liked about that is, if you get this bike, really take the time to kind of figure out what map you like the most. I actually liked using that traction control that they have, especially towards the end of the day. For me, it helped me just stay more aggressive on the bike, especially when I'm tired, I'm getting beat up. So I could stay aggressive on the bike, but still feel like I was getting the power to the ground. So play with that traction control, play with the 3 different maps, because I promise you, you'll be able to find a setup with your engine that you're gonna really like. So I do like the change they made there. They also have launch control on this bike for 2020. So the launch control though, it's not just one of your hold it wide open until you're at the rev limiter and dump the clutch. That's not what they want. They want it just to help give assistance and get that power to the ground. So don't just take this out to your first gate drop and hold it wide open, drop the clutch. Definitely experiment with their launch control so you know exactly what you're dealing with there. Now, as far as the suspension goes, another one of the changes they made just this year is they changed the valving. And what they wanted to go for is just a little bit more hold up, just to help the bike stay a little bit more balanced, so not as pitchy as the bike in the past. So today it was cool. It was a collaboration. It was me, Chris Kiefer, Colton Ack. We all went out and rode the bike. One guy would come in, we'd talk about how the bike felt. We'd make a couple changes. The next guy would go out and ride it. And we just did that all day long. And we just kind of found ourselves going in a direction. So the setting that I found that I liked was from the base setting, I went 2 clicks stiffer on the compression and the fork. For me, I just wanted a little bit more hold up. It still felt a little bit soft. So I went 2 clicks stiffer on the compression, 1 slower, so 1 in on the rebound on the fork. And then with the shock, we actually went in a half turn on the high-speed compression, and then I went out 1 click, so 1 click softer on the shock. So what that did for me was I wanted a little bit more weight on the front end. To me, it felt like the bike was a little bit twitchy in the front. As I was coming through a rut and accelerating, I didn't feel like I had the front tire planted, like it was really tracking and staying stuck to the ground. So to get a little bit more weight on the front, instead of it increasing or taking away sag, so we kept it 105, that's what that high-speed compression did. We took a little bit out so it kind of raised up the back end, put a little bit more weight on the front, and then just to get a little bit more comfort and softer feel in the back, we went one click out on the compression. For me, that was a sweet spot. When I got to that point, I didn't want to make any change to the bike. That with MAP 2 was a sweet spot for me all day. So here's what I really like about the Honda. It still has a pretty rigid chassis. It gives a lot of feedback. If you make a mistake on this bike, it's gonna let you know it. But this bike has a really good balance from being right off the production floor. It's a great balanced bike. You just gotta find that suspension that you like. But what I enjoy about it is how well this bike corners. I honestly think it's probably one of the better cornering 450s. You know, with moving that battery down, getting that lower center of gravity, as you come into a corner, this bike just wants to lay over for you. It doesn't fight you. It doesn't want to stand up at all. So for me, I love the way this bike lays over in the corners, and you can just steer it. If you're coming into a rut, you want to change your direction, very simple to do so. You just point and shoot, and this bike does a great job doing that. And obviously with Honda, their motor package is incredible. And like I said, experiment with those 3 maps, and you're gonna find something that you really like. A couple of the small changes that they made, the brake pad material is different this year. So they went the different brake pad material, and they got rid of the disc guard in the rear, actually, they said, just to kind of help with cooling so that disc doesn't get as hot. But aside from that, I would just get new grips on here. These grips are pretty firm. My hands are pretty beat up, but overall, great bike. Plenty of power. It feels lightweight. It feels snappy. And as far as cornering goes, it's probably one of my favorite bikes that I've ridden. The chassis to me still just feels a little bit rigid, something that they've battled with in the past. But like I said, if you get that suspension dialed in, you can get the bike compliant, makes it comfortable. And overall, man, just a really good bike. If you guys have questions or comments, you want some more of my personal feedback, what I felt today, I'm more than happy to give that to you. So leave your questions or comments below. If you guys like this review, you want to see more like it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that notification button. Also, make sure you check out KieferInkTesting.com. Chris Kiefer, he actually did a little podcast with Colton Ack, I think I said that right. And they actually give their thoughts on the bike, kind of talk about the direction that they went, what they felt comfortable with. So if you want to get a full in-depth review, listen to Chris Kiefer's podcast. I'm Chase the Rocky Mountain. Thanks for watching.
Sometimes I'm at the peak and other times I'm about to fall. Sometimes I gotta wonder what I'm doing here at all. Sometimes in my mind I just sit here and I'm guessing. How can I find the answers? I don't even got the questions. Sometimes I'm at the peak and other times I'm about to fall. Sometimes I gotta wonder what I'm doing here at all. Sometimes in my mind I just sit here and I'm guessing. How can I find the answers? I don't even got the questions. I'm just being real.